The Japanese have a cultural concept that is paramount to their existence. They call it Ikigai, and each person's is unique. Ikigai means that which makes life worth living. In Japan, one's Ikigai can be anything: having a happy family, working for a prominent company, traveling the world, making one's parents proud, karaoke and drinks every Saturday night, or all of the above and much more, or less. Have you ever thought about what makes your life worth living? When I first gave thought to this idea of Ikigai, I could come up with many ideas of what I liked, what I enjoyed, what made me happy, but I struggled to come up with the ones that make my life worth living. I thought of those old war movies, the scene where the man goes off to battle and gets captured, but he uses a picture of his girlfriend back home to keep him going. The idea of his honey, the memory of her, the hopes for their future together, those are the things that keep him alive. She serves as his motivating strength, his inspiration, the life force in his existence, his Ikigai. So I thought about myself in that situation. If it were me in that war, what would make my life worth living? What would be my motivating influence, my inspiration to keep me going and not just give up? Another way I looked at it was asking the question, what would be the point? I thought about the people in my life. Yes, they were definitely a factor in that which makes life worth living. But what if they were no longer in my life? Would I then consider my life not worth living? The thought made me very nervous indeed, because nothing is permanent in this world. And if that which makes our life worth living can come and go, then what happens to us? Do we come and go with it? If watching the daily sunset makes our life worth living, and we can no longer see it out of pure geographic location or change in our eyesight, does that mean our life is no longer worth living? If traveling the world makes our life worth living, and we can no longer do so for whatever reason, budget or health issues, does that mean our life is no longer worth living? And what about the original question I'd posed? What if those most important to us went away? Would that make life not worth living? Those kinds of losses would definitely be sorrowful and could make me question, what's the point? But I know that eventually I would have to find myself and move on, as most of us do when faced with those circumstances. But why? What is the energy behind that desire to carry on, even if the most important people and things in life were no longer present? What is the point? The point is, we don't need to have a point, because that which makes life worth living doesn't have to be a separate external person or thing. That which makes life worth living can be life itself. The acts of living, unfolding, experiencing them as they do, new surprises and beautiful challenges around every corner, helping each other, discovering our gifts and sharing them, consciously learning and growing, seeing and taking part in all of it without expectations or requirements, and ultimately just allowing ourselves to bask and be without needing to do anything, without being attached to anything other than just being. When all of life is your Ikigai, your point, so to speak, you are taking part in an infinite loop of existence, one in which external circumstances don't matter. Roles, identities, belongings, and stories fade away, and just being is more than enough. When life is your Ikigai, just the act of being alive in the present moment is that which makes life worth living.